Presented by
The 910 Comedy
Podcast Network.
Welcome to episode 5 of Marital Tips, where we invite you into our marriage to debate the not-so-important topics, discuss each other, and more. I'm Tim.
I'm Karen.
And we're a couple of married geeks who often get very passionate when we disagree about the super important topics like our favorite TV shows, personality traits, and whether Eater is a good name for an app.
Debatable.
So, Karen, what are we talking about tonight?
So I happened to come across this really intriguing BuzzFeed article entitled, "Here are 7 controversial arguments. Who's the jerk in each scenario?" Which I found really attractive because if you are a Reddit reader, you might be familiar with a community entitled AITA, which I won't spell out for anybody, but basically it's like people post stories to see whether or not they're the jerk in a scenario.
Right.
And I feel like we kind of have this conversation sometimes, especially right now we're watching a lot of like House Hunters. And some of those couples really need to come on this show as guests and like air out some stuff because sometimes people can be really kind of mean to each other.
Like 90% of that show is divorced at this point.
Yeah, if you have ever appeared on a show of House Hunters, come on, because we want to talk. We want the tea. We want to know. We want you to air out your stuff. But in a much less, confrontational way, I figured we could read these scenarios and kind of discuss what each other thinks. There's a percentage poll, like of how many people agree with each situation. So basically each scenario, there's 2 people that you can decide either one of them is the jerk, both of them are the jerk, or neither of them are the jerk.
Okay. Okay. So what's the first scenario?
Paul downloads a movie to his laptop to watch on his flight. The movie is graphic in both violence and sex, but he's wearing headphones. Behind him, Susan asks him to turn it off because her small child can see it. Paul refuses. Who's the jerk?
I'm going to say Paul's the jerk in this situation.
Really?
I do think Susan needs to mind her own business, but she's also responsible for the well-being of her kid, and that is a public venue.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. I maybe have a different perspective because we don't have children, so maybe I don't necessarily automatically side with Susan, but I don't know. I just feel like, people are going to be people when they're on a plane and everyone's uncomfortable. Everyone's trying to just like make it through. And like,
now, I mean, if the kid is unable to see the movie from their position, then Susan's definitely the jerk.
Well,
if she's just, take the child out of it, Susan's a jerk because she doesn't want to see it. But she's responsible for the well-being of that kid.
Well, it says in the scenario that the kid can see it.
Okay, yeah, then Paul's the jerk.
I think neither of them is the jerk, but it'll give us all of the answers. So 46% of people say that Paul is the jerk, and 19% say neither of them is the jerk. Neither of them, I mean, she just asked. All you can do is ask. It's not like she was like, you bleep, bleep, bleep.
But
jerk,
again, it's a public sphere. If it's a case of, maybe I've got some violently graphic art on the walls of my home, then it's on Susan to not bring the child into that scenario because that's my private home.
Right.
But on a public flight, yeah, Paul's in the wrong there.
I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, he has a right to, it's not his kid. He has the right to entertain himself. He's wearing headphones. No one can hear it. And those screens are tiny. I mean, I've definitely, to be fair, creeped on someone ahead of me their entertainment because I didn't have my own, but they're pretty small, the screens.
I mean, small doesn't change the graphicness of it.
I guess, but if they're really that small without noise, do they know what they're looking at?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Maybe people with kids will have a different opinion, but next scenario is friends Joe and Bob move into an apartment together. After they sign the lease, Joe realizes he is severely allergic to Bob's cat and medication won't help. Joe asks Bob to give the cat away. Bob says no. Who's the jerk?
Joe.
Joe.
Is Joe the one that's allergic?
Yeah.
Yeah, Joe is.
Why?
You wouldn't ask somebody to give up their kid.
Mm-hmm.
You don't ask somebody to give up their pet. You have to figure out a way to deal with it, or you move out.
Yeah, I mean, I just asked you why because I just want to know your answer, but yeah, I totally agree. I mean, you really, they're just friends. I mean, one assumes that if they sign a lease to an apartment, it's for like a year, and it's not like it's a spouse or somebody that you would, you know, ideally be living with forever, or as long as the cat's alive anyway, being really annoyed. And I don't know. I mean, I would never, that's just me. Like, I would never, ever ask somebody to have any type of like inconvenience or sadness upon them. But if you are really that allergic, I don't know. I'm trying
that's
to see.
A significant portion of somebody's life, a pet is.
Yeah.
So you don't ask somebody to do that.
I'm trying to see both sides, but
also you should be aware of these issues before you sign a lease.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of does like make you wonder outside of the question, like, did Joe never come over and like visit Bob or like meet the cat or anything like that? Like, that kind of makes me question his like intelligence, or not intelligence, but his, what's the word? What am I trying to think of?
I'm not sure.
What?
But Joe's the jerk here.
Well, 43% of people said neither of them are the jerk, and 26% said Joe, but 19% said Bob.
Bob is 0% the jerk here.
He's like, yeah, man, you just be sniffly. I don't really see that as jerky behavior. I'm sorry.
What's the third one?
Lily offers to treat Janice to dinner. Lily orders a large pizza to share, and they eat it at her house. Janice takes the leftover slices home. Lily is upset because she was looking forward to eating them the next day. Who's the jerk?
Neither of them.
Why?
That one, you should just be able to have that conversation. Who paid for the pizza?
Lily.
And who took the pizza?
Janice.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that Janice is necessarily being a jerk in this situation.
She's being a weirdo because, like, who takes food from someone's
nobody
house?
does that, but that doesn't necessarily make her a jerk.
Yeah.
You have that conversation.
I mean, here in the South, a lot of times people, well, probably a lot of other places in the world, but I feel like that Southern hospitality really bleeds through a lot of times when you have like a really big meal at someone's house. And many times they'll offer, like they'll say, oh, please take this home, take the leftovers, take as much as you want. If we ordered pizza, take yours, you know, whatever. And that's just pretty normal for down here. But yeah, it's pretty weird to just take it and like the person who's hosting isn't aware that you took it. That's weird to me.
Yeah.
But I don't think either of them are jerks necessarily. I just
No.
think that's really strange behavior.
Yeah, it's weird, but it's not jerky, and you should just be able to have that conversation.
Are we going with neither of them?
That's my vote.
Okay, so 61% said Janice, she's the one who took the pizza home.
Right.
And 19%, that's the next level. It's 61% Janice, and then 19% neither of them. So that's a pretty big leap.
I mean, I'm never going to take somebody's pizza that bought me pizza, but...
Unless they offer, like...
Well, yeah.
You know, if they say, like, oh,
but
you know,
if
there's...
they offer, then you're not going to be upset about it.
Right. I don't know. That's just weird to me. I feel like in a normal situation, that would not happen. Like, between good friends, you know what I mean?
No, not at all.
Okay, so the next one is John's wife, Amy, works late. So John offers to cook dinner every night. But he always makes a mess in the kitchen and never cleans it up, which annoys Amy. John says Amy should clean since he's already done the cooking. Who's the jerk?
John's being the jerk in that situation.
John, oh my God.
I get the idea behind, you know, whoever cooks doesn't clean. I understand that. But if she's working late, that goes out the window.
John, come on, buddy.
Yeah.
Like, either you clean or you're going to have an ex-wife here shortly, because that's not cool. In
a situation where she wasn't working late and he was just doing all the cooking, that's a different story.
Me personally, I would rather, like by a large margin, I would rather have a clean kitchen and get takeout every day, or like eat peanut butter sandwiches or something like that, than to have a home cooked meal, but a mess that I'm expected to clean up after I come home at like 10 o'clock at night or something like that.
Absolutely.
So 38% of people said John was the jerk. And then 27% said both of them. Both of them? Really? We think Amy's the jerk?
Yeah, I don't think Amy's any bit of the jerk there. I mean, maybe a little just because there is kind of that expectation of whoever cooks doesn't clean, but
I mean, it doesn't even
not
say...
a significant enough amount to consider her the jerk in this situation.
It doesn't even say that she doesn't clean. It just says that she's, like, mad about it.
Right.
So, I don't know how anyone can say that Amy or both of them are the jerk in this scenario. So, Ellie's wedding day is the day before her grandmother's birthday. Her mom, Shirley... So Ellie's mom, Shirley, which assumes Shirley is the daughter of the grandmother.
Right.
Her mom, Shirley, thinks it would be nice if Ellie would include a birthday cake for Grandma at the at the wedding reception. Ellie says no. Who's the jerk?
Not Ellie. That's her
Shirley?
day. Yeah, Shirley is the jerk here.
Yeah, Shirley. What the heck? Come on, Mom.
Yeah, that's Ellie's day. Ellie and her significant other's day. You don't intrude. You don't propose at somebody's wedding.
Oh my gosh!
You
don't even get me.
Don't do another birthday. Nothing. The whole day or that whole event is for Ellie's wedding.
If it were us and we had someone significant in our lives that, like, right before our wedding they had a birthday, we would just have their birthday.
Right.
I mean, I guess we had a pretty, like, low-key wedding compared to a lot of people who really have to be involved in the planning and, like, going to meetings and things like that, like, right before the wedding. But at least in our situation, and ideally in really any situation, you'd be able to carve out some time to make it separate and special for that person. And I don't know that I would really want to be the grandmother in that situation. Like, how much of a cheap...
I'd be willing to say that the grandmother doesn't want this. This is just her daughter trying to take care of her mom.
Yeah, this is the mom entirely that's, like, pulling the strings here. I would doubt very highly that the grandmother would want that kind of attention or maybe, again, I'm putting on my, like, anxiety covered glasses here. Like, I don't want attention ever. So,
right. Yeah,
I can't imagine that this is the grandma's idea. So, yeah, Shirley, come on, lady. Let your daughter have her one wedding day.
And what do the people say?
41% say Shirley, the mom.
41?
And 32% say Ellie. 22% say neither of them.
I'm very disappointed in our the BuzzFeed readers.
Neither of them, though? Neither of them. That's just a organic situation that neither of them can be held accounted for. Like, right. Come on, people. Francine has her relatives over to meet her new baby. Her cousin Tiffany wears a designer sweater and the baby spits up on it. Tiffany wants Francine to reimburse her for the very expensive sweater.
No!
Francine thinks it's ridiculous.
Yeah,
Tiffany, girl!
Francine is definitely not the jerk.
Francine, honey.
Tiffany's the jerk. You know you're going over to meet a newborn. You know newborns are able to do this. Don't wear your expensive clothing.
Listen, Francine, honey, I'm sorry. Apparently these are all based on stories that people have submitted on Reddit. So whoever the inspiration behind Francine is, girlfriend...
Francine, you need some new friends.
Girl, I want to buy you a sweater, honey. You deserve all the sweaters in the world because you got a new baby you're taking care of and you don't need people...
And you got friends like that.
That's crazy. And apparently most people agree. 90% of people, which is the highest we've seen so far, say Tiffany is the jerk.
Yeah, because that's a no-brainer. How is it not 100%?
That's crazy. Well, 5% of people said Francine.
Well, 5% of the population is dumb.
You got designer sweater money as a mama? As a new mama? I don't think so. Absolutely not. Tiffany, get out of here. And I think this is the last one.
Also, take your sweater off and just wear whatever you got underneath while you're holding the kid. If you're that concerned about the designer sweater.
Yeah, this ain't the 90s. People wear things under their sweaters now, honey. You can take it off. Tommy and Dill, is this...
Pickles?
Is this Rugrats? Tommy and Dill go to a holiday party. Tommy eats meat, but doesn't like any of the dishes except for the vegetarian one. Stop it. Dill is a vegan.
Okay.
Stop it. I can't deal with that pun. Dill is a vegan and thinks Tommy should save that food for the vegetarian guests. Who is the jerk?
So this is a How I Met Your Mother episode.
Which one? What?
The house party. The housewarming.
Where Neil eats all of the...
Yeah.
The spring rolls or whatever.
Yeah.
I feel like... I don't know. It's not anyone's fault for being a vegan.
But it's also nobody's fault if whoever made the meat dishes can't cook.
Yeah.
It's not the eater's fault.
Why are you mad? See, this sounds like, I don't know. You should be mad at the people who, like, maybe catered the party for not including more vegetarian dishes.
Yeah.
Or well, I'm assuming that it was catered. Maybe it was like a potluck or something and people brought dishes that they like, in which case I don't know that really anybody's to blame necessarily, but I don't know. I'm having a hard time with this one.
I don't think anybody's really being the jerk here.
I think Tommy is not really representative of an actual vegetarian vegan that I know in real life, because I feel like most vegans that I know go to a party completely full. Or if not completely full, then at least not hungry, because they
assume that there's not going to be food.
It shouldn't be like that. It should obviously be such that anyone can eat anywhere, but I feel like most people are prepared that there isn't going to be like the type of menu that they would want at a party that isn't like a vegan, party. So I guess neither of them.
Yeah, I don't think either of them is really being a jerk in this situation.
Oh my gosh.
Tommy's the jerk, isn't he?
No, 47% think Dill is the jerk. That's funny to me. Wow, how quickly people turn on vegans, like anytime they express an opinion. Neither of us are anywhere close to vegans, but I think...
No, we've established my love of meat.
Yeah, I think vegans get a lot of hate when they express any type of opinion about food at all.
Yeah, I don't think either of them's really being a jerk in this situation.
Yeah, I mean, he's just kind of saying like, hey, do you mind saving some food for like the only food I can eat here for me?
Yeah, but watch out for the beekeeper on fire.
And 25% say neither of them is the jerk. 19% though said Tommy is the jerk.
I mean, I can understand the thought process. If he knows that that's the only thing Dill will eat, yeah, the more he knows it, the more jerky he is. But you can't help it if that's the only thing you like there.
Or maybe Tommy just doesn't know that it's vegetarian, like it's the only one that is vegetarian.
It's possible.
I don't know. I like how we're like trying to spin all these like side stories off of these like very basic 2-sentence scenarios that are being presented to us.
Right.
It's just, yeah, I mean, in the end, it's really fun in a way to not judge people. I don't want to say it's fun to judge people, but it's kind of fun to judge some situations and see, definitely how it can be improved. Or like if someone's being unreasonable, like that girl Tiffany.
Yeah, Tiffany's the worst.
Tiffany is the villain.
And I'm sorry for all the Tiffany's. You can wear that with honor because I'm married to a Karen who's the least Karen there is.
I don't want to hear anybody complain about a name that they have when I'm named Karen.
Right.
I mean, just to and I really want to touch on the Karen thing for a second, because a couple of my friends have made fun of me a little bit when I told them that I was starting this podcast with you, and how maybe no one would take me that seriously because all of my arguments would maybe be fueled by the fact that my name is Karen, and Karens tend to be like really unreasonable and things like that. I don't mind, actually. Like, I've seen a lot of things on the internet saying like Karen is the new N-word for middle-aged white people and stuff. It's not. It's really not. It's nowhere near like the terribleness of like a truly discriminatory word.
No. I mean, your argument automatically goes out the window when you say Karen is the new N-word. If you can say one of the words, they're not equivalent.
The K word. No, but,
we're not trying to add fuel to the Karen is bad. Don't start calling it the K word. But you do lose your credibility.
Yeah, I don't mind at all the fact that people make fun of me a little bit when I have little tiffs with Tim and say that, well, were you being a Karen about it? I don't think I've ever sent food back in a restaurant or asked to speak to anyone's manager in my entire life. So, I mean, I don't mind. I happen to think that my arguments are extremely valid. But this Tiffany girl, she needs to be on...
The worst!
She needs to learn what life's about.
Well, that'll wrap it up for this week's episode of Marital Tiffs. Be sure to follow us on all social media at Marital Tiffs on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can email us at maritaltiffs@gmail.com. That's MARITALTIFFS, all one word. Subscribe on your favorite podcast app. We are coming soon to Google and Apple Podcasts. And leave us a review and rating if you're listening on Apple.
If you have a situation that you'd like us to weigh in on who is the jerk in a particular situation, let us know on any of the socials that Tim just mentioned.
Thanks for listening to Marable Tiffs.
Have a great night.